feelings?
I mean, I like the movie. I think it did not do anything good for our sport.
Kyle Larson, NASCAR's top talent, just made a shocking revelation that could change how the sport is perceived. In a recent podcast, Larson blasted Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby, claiming it turned NASCAR into a joke. But it's not just Larson who feels this way. Teammate William Byron backed him up, signaling that the movie's legacy might have done more harm than good for the sport's image. In 2006, Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby hit theaters, taking NASCAR to new heights in the pop culture stratosphere, with over-the-top humor, absurd characters, and iconic lines like, "If you ain't first, you're last." It became a cult classic. But now, almost 2 decades later, NASCAR's brightest stars, including Kyle Larson and William Byron, are openly criticizing the film's portrayal of the sport. Larson, known for his measured approach and serious racing focus, shocked fans by stating that the movie turned our sport into a joke. The debate has sparked heated discussion in the NASCAR world. Is Talladega Nights a fun comedy or a damaging stereotype that still clings to NASCAR's image? Let's take a closer look at Larson's explosive comments and why they could reshape how the sport presents itself to the public. When Talladega Nights hit theaters in 2006, NASCAR was riding high. The sport was attracting more mainstream fans, especially with stars like Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon dominating the headlines. NASCAR was, in many ways, at the height of its popularity. With a mix of humor, satire, and outrageous characters, Talladega Nights became a movie that even casual fans loved. Will Ferrell's portrayal of Ricky Bobby, a loud, brash, and egotistical driver, caught the public's attention, and for many it became the face of NASCAR. However, despite the comedic success of the film, Larson and Byron believe that the movie's exaggerated redneck stereotypes and cartoonish depiction of NASCAR culture painted the sport in a less than flattering light. Larson's comments highlight a deeper concern. Talladega Nights might have done more harm than good in shaping the image of NASCAR. Larson, who has become one of NASCAR's most successful and respected drivers, was quick to share his thoughts on Talladega Nights during his appearance on the Games with Names podcast. Larson admitted that he enjoyed the movie, but also made it clear that he believes it did nothing positive for NASCAR. "I like the movie," Larson said, "but I think it did not do anything good for our sport. I think it turned our sport into a joke. Unfortunately, that's got to be one of the most popular racing movies. But the rest of the world, I feel like that's what they think about our sport now." It didn't take long for Larson's Hendrick Motorsports teammate William Byron to throw his support behind the comments. Byron, who is also at the top of his game in NASCAR, reposted Larson's quote on X, stating bluntly, 100%. Should not be the first thing people think of. Byron's response is telling. He and Larson are not alone in their frustrations. The two drivers, both major contenders in the Cup Series, see Talladega Nights as a representation of NASCAR that doesn't reflect the true nature of the sport. While the movie may have brought NASCAR into the limelight and attracted millions of viewers, it did so with a comedic, over-the-top tone that didn't portray the serious, competitive side of racing. The movie's portrayal of NASCAR as a redneck-filled sport with bumbling drivers and slapstick pit crews reinforces negative stereotypes that the sport has fought to move away from for years. As NASCAR aimed to attract a younger, more diverse audience, Talladega Nights seemed to set the sport back, reinforcing the good old boy image that many thought NASCAR had outgrown. The timing of Talladega Nights' release was also unfortunate for NASCAR. Just as the sport was gaining popularity and transitioning into a new era, the movie painted it in a comically exaggerated light. The impact of this portrayal wasn't immediately obvious, but over time, it became clear that Talladega Nights had skewed the perception of NASCAR, especially among newer or more casual fans. In the mid-2000s, NASCAR was still dealing with a decline in attendance and television ratings, and while the movie didn't directly cause these issues, its portrayal of the sport didn't help. The film's comedic portrayal of NASCAR's drivers and fans became a stereotype that stuck, and that was a tough image to shake as the sport moved into the next decade. Even though Talladega Nights came out nearly 20 years ago, it continues to have a lasting impact on NASCAR's image. For casual fans or those unfamiliar with the sport, the film's portrayal of NASCAR may be their only reference point. The movie's lines, catchphrases, and absurd humor have become iconic, and many still quote, "If you ain't first, you're last," at races or in casual conversation. But for drivers like Larson and Byron, this continues to be a point of frustration. They want NASCAR to be seen as a serious sport, one that requires incredible skill, focus, and athleticism. They want fans to appreciate the technical aspects of racing, from the engineering of the cars to the strategy employed by the teams. Byron, who recently snapped a 21-race winless streak with a victory at the Iowa Corn 350, made it clear that he feels the sport is moving in a positive direction. "I think we're better than we've ever been. We've been in some crashes that weren't our making," Byron said, "but we continue to bring speed." Byron's words are a reminder that NASCAR is evolving. The drivers are improving, the cars are faster, and the competition is more intense than ever. But the lingering perception of NASCAR as a joke, a perception shaped by Talladega Nights, still presents a challenge for the sport. Both Larson and Byron are pushing for a shift in how NASCAR is perceived by the wider public. They want to be seen as athletes who work hard, compete fiercely, and represent the best of motorsports. Larson's criticism of Talladega Nights is not just about the movie. It's about changing the narrative surrounding NASCAR and ensuring that the next generation of fans sees the sport for what it truly is: a high-stakes, highly competitive arena where talent and teamwork are key. The suggestion that Talladega Nights did more harm than good isn't just about a movie. It's about the image of NASCAR in the mainstream. Larson and Byron's comments are a call to fans, media, and the public to look beyond the stereotypes and appreciate the sport for its true complexity. See, for Larson and Byron, pushing back against the Talladega Nights stereotype is part of a larger effort to reshape how NASCAR is seen. While the movie will always be a part of pop culture, it's time for the sport to move beyond the joke and into a new era where racing is seen as a serious, competitive endeavor. Kyle Larson's bombshell comments about Talladega Nights have opened up a larger conversation about NASCAR's image and the challenges the sport faces in being taken seriously. While the movie may have made NASCAR a household name, it also left behind a legacy of redneck stereotypes and exaggerated portrayals that still impact the sport today. With drivers like Larson and Byron leading the way, there's hope that NASCAR can shake off this image and be seen for what it truly is: a sport that demands skill, precision, and athleticism. As the sport evolves, so too must the way it is perceived by the world.
I've wanted all those places, so let's go do it again, right? Watkins Glen's probably my favorite road course we go to. Richmond is statistically one of my best racetracks that we go to. And then Daytona's been one of our best racetracks since I've been at RCR with Team Chevrolet. So, feel really good about our opportunities in the next 3 weeks.
Kyle Busch has just 3 races left to make it into the 2025 NASCAR playoffs. He hasn't won in 2 years, and his chance to race for the championship is almost gone. Every race now counts. Can he pull off a win and make it into the playoffs, or will this be the year he misses out? Kyle Busch is a famous NASCAR driver known for his strong racing and many wins, but now he's facing one of the hardest parts of his career. The 2025 season has been tough for him, even though he has won a lot in the past. Right now, it's not clear if he'll make it into the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. With only 3 races left in the season, he doesn't have much time to turn things around. As it stands, Kyle Busch is 19th in the standings, far outside the coveted top 16 spots that will advance to the playoffs. His current position is a far cry from the dominance he's known for in NASCAR. With just 3 races remaining, Busch's only hope for playoff qualification lies in a win. But with the competition heating up and his recent struggles, securing that victory is far from guaranteed. Busch's story is one of highs and lows. The 2024 season was a tough blow for the 9-year-old driver, marking the first time in his career that he failed to win a race. After a season of ups and downs, he ended up outside the playoffs for the first time since the modern playoff format began. But despite his struggles, Busch has always been a fighter, and the question now is whether he can rally in 2025. This season has been no different, with Busch still seeking his first victory of the year. While his team's performance has been solid, consistent finishes have proven elusive. Busch's only path to the playoffs now appears to be a dramatic late-season victory. With so little time remaining, he knows that every lap, every pit stop, and every decision on the track counts more than ever before. The first opportunity for Busch to make a mark will come at Richmond Raceway, a track where he has historically performed well. With 6 wins and an average finish of 7.0 at Richmond, Busch has the experience and track record to succeed there. However, Busch has also acknowledged that past performances alone won't guarantee a win this time. The competition is fierce, and every race is a battle for survival. In an interview, Busch spoke candidly about his outlook for the remainder of the season. "I'm not going to lie, time is running out, and I know that," Busch said. "But I also know what we're capable of. Richmond is a track where we've had success, and if we execute well, we'll have a shot." Busch's comments reflect a sense of urgency that has come to define his mindset this year. With just a few races left to secure a win in a playoff spot, every decision will matter. There's little margin for error, and Busch is keenly aware of that. The pressure to perform at his best is intense, but it's nothing new for a driver who has dealt with high stakes throughout his career. The upcoming race at Richmond will not only be crucial for Busch's playoff chances, but also for his legacy. He's been in this situation before, and his career has been marked by comebacks and perseverance. But will his experience be enough to overcome the challenges of a season that has been far from smooth sailing? Richmond is just one of the tracks where Busch hopes to make a statement. The following race at Daytona is another opportunity for him to prove himself. Known for its unpredictability, Daytona often produces thrilling finishes and upsets. For Busch, the race represents a chance to turn the tide on his playoff chances. Daytona has been one of our best racetracks since I have been at RCR with Team Chevrolet. I feel really good about our opportunities in the next 3 weeks. However, while Daytona presents an opportunity, it also brings risks. The unpredictability of the track means that Busch will need to be strategic, especially with his playoff hopes hanging in the balance. The stakes could not be higher, and Busch knows that a mistake now could seal his fate. "You have to stay focused, stay calm, and take the opportunities when they come," he added. After Daytona, there's one more race before the playoffs, and it will be at Watkins Glen. A track that has presented both challenges and victories for Busch, Watkins Glen could be the site of his final push. With his playoff hopes on the line, Busch will need to finish strong. "Watkins Glen is a tricky track, but we've had success there in the past," he said. "It's all about making sure we stay in the fight and not giving up." The remaining races of the season are critical for Busch. Each one presents a new challenge, but each also provides an opportunity to secure a win and punch his ticket to the playoffs. With the clock ticking down, Busch is focused on doing whatever it takes to make the playoffs. "We can't afford to leave anything on the table," he said. "We have to go for it." While Busch's situation may seem dire, it's worth noting that he has been here before. Busch's career is defined by his ability to persevere through adversity. He's one of the most successful drivers in NASCAR history, with over 60 Cup Series wins and multiple championships. His experience and talent make him a formidable competitor, and it's no surprise that many are still betting on his ability to pull off a dramatic late-season run. The pressure on Kyle Busch is huge. He's been at the top of NASCAR for years, but now, with his playoff hopes on the line, he might miss out. No one expected this at the start of the season, but it's something he has to face. "I've been around long enough to know that anything can happen," he said, "but it's up to us to make it happen." Busch's chances of making the playoffs depend on how he performs in the next few races. The challenges are big, but his determination is strong. "We know what we need to do," Busch said. "Now it's about going out there and getting it done." As the final races approach, Busch's playoff hopes will be decided by how well he handles the pressure. He's been in tough situations before, but this feels different. The stakes are higher than ever, and there's less room for mistakes. His legacy as one of NASCAR's greats is at risk, and he knows this season could change the course of his career. Fans and analysts are watching closely as the playoffs get closer. Every race now matters for Busch's chances of making it to the postseason. In the coming weeks, we'll see if Busch can find the drive that made him a champion. "We're not giving up," Busch said. "We're going to fight until the end." As the NASCAR Cup Series moves toward its final races, Busch's fate is in his hands. The chance to make the playoffs is still there, but it will take everything he has to make it happen. With time running out, Busch will need to rely on his experience, skill, and drive to secure his place in the playoffs and prove he still has what it takes to compete with the best. The final stretch of the 2025 season is here. For Kyle Busch, these next races will decide his playoff hopes and his legacy. Will he make the playoffs? Or will this be the year his streak ends? Only time will tell. Will Kyle Busch make the playoffs? Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. Drop a comment below and let us know if you think he'll make it. Don't forget to like the video if you're cheering for him.
Mexico was very, very challenging logistically. Very, very tough on our race teams to prepare the cars a week, 10 days in advance. Like, just a tremendous task. And not only the task.
On the 4th of August, 2025, Denny Hamlin talked about some big problems in NASCAR. He said things that got a lot of people's attention. Just 2 days after the Iowa race, he used his own show to speak up. He didn't just talk about one problem, he talked about many. What he said made people stop and listen. On the Actions Detrimental podcast, Denny Hamlin addressed problems stemming from tire performance during the Iowa Speedway Cup Series race. Hamlin described a yo-yo effect at short tracks like Martinsville, where passing became nearly impossible. "It's the yo-yo effect you see at Martinsville. No one can pass," he said. He added, "You can't pass the 30th place car. That is the problem we're talking about, and that is what we have to fix." He attributed the issue to tire compounds. He noted that the tire showed very little fall-off over 50 laps, leaving leaders able to hold position on half throttle. He said, "That means the tire is so hard that it just takes a dramatic amount of downforce to push that tire into the racetrack and get it to grip. Nobody but the first few cars have enough air to do that." The result at Iowa was a predictable win. William Byron, leading much of Stage 3, claimed the checkered flag. Few passing opportunities made strategy hinge on restarts and fuel rather than competing pace. Hamlin called the race outcome ho-ye-hum, in effect. In the same podcast, Hamlin turned his focus to NASCAR's Mexico City weekend. He expressed relief after learning NASCAR would not return there in 2025. He described the trip as logistically demanding, with teams loading cars a week to 10 days early. "We are wiping our forehead," he said. Mexico was very, very challenging. Logistically, very, very tough on our race teams to prepare the cars.
Mexico was very, very challenging. Logistically, very, very tough on our race teams to prepare the cars a week, 10 days in advance. Like, just a tremendous task. And not only the task of that.
He also spoke of illness spreading through the garage. He estimated 5 to 6 crew members and drivers suffered severe sickness. Lots. I mean, I know of 5 to 6 that were in really, really bad shape.
Lots. I mean, I know of 5 to 6 that were in really, really bad shape.
Hamlin attributed the cancellation to financial factors. He said outright, "Decisions are always made by money in this instance. It's always money." He suggested ticket sales or returns fell short of expectations for Mexico City. He placed expectations in Chicagoland, replacing Mexico City on the 2026 schedule. He said of Chicagoland Speedway, "Good, I think that'll put on a good race. It's a wide mile and a half. Typically, that's been the one type of racing that's been pretty good." Denny Hamlin also addressed the ongoing lawsuit involving his co-owned team, 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsports. A federal appeals panel recently denied their request to continue racing as chartered teams. Hamlin asserted the decision was a minor part of the larger litigation set for the 1st of December. "That's just such a small part of the entire litigation. I'm not deterred at all. We're in good shape," he said. He acknowledged that losing charter status would force teams to race as open entries with significant financial risk and the need to qualify on speed each week. He added that the cost to operate uncertified cars could run into tens of millions. Despite that, he affirmed, "We're committed to run this season open if we have to. We're going to race and fulfill all of our commitments no matter what. We're here to race." Hamlin addressed concerns about losing drivers such as Tyler Reddick. The charter agreement has a clause that could allow Reddick to become a free agent. Hamlin responded, "I'm not focused on that particularly right this second." He emphasized that their legal process remains ongoing. He repeatedly emphasized confidence in the upcoming trial. "All will be exposed," he said, referring to December's case. He stressed that judges acknowledged their legal position had merit. "We feel like facts are on our side," he said. Hamlin's statements revealed several layers: performance concerns at short tracks, safety and operational challenges abroad, the impact of charter rulings, and broader financial exposure. Each topic underscores pressure on NASCAR's structure and management decisions. He criticized the Iowa tire for offering zero drop-off over extended runs. He compared lap times to a flat-ass level format. He demanded changes in aerodynamic setups, specifically more overbody downforce and less reliance on underbody aerodynamics. He said, "Fix the attitude of the car. It'll make them better in traffic. More overbody, less underbody." Those words echoed in post-race coverage. Analysts highlighted his call for the sport to revisit tire strategy and car design, arguing it affects overtaking and race quality at short tracks. Hamlin placed the Mexico City decision in context as both financial and human cost. Teams faced travel issues when planes were delayed and one aborted takeoff due to engine failure. He described environmental adaptation problem, including water and food, contributing to illness. That incident ended his streak of 406 consecutive Cup Series starts dating back to 2014. He missed the Mexico City race following the birth of his son. Ryan Truex filled in for Hamlin and finished 23rd. NASCAR granted a waiver, preventing loss of playoff eligibility. Observers noted the combination of midweek legal battles, scheduling shifts, and race day performance concerns placed Hamlin at the center of the current NASCAR debate. His dual role as driver and owner sharpens that focus. In the courtroom, 2311 and Front Row argue that without charter recognition, they cannot secure guaranteed entry or base payouts. Losing charters would subject them to starting lineup uncertainties, potential revenue loss, and increased operating costs. Hamlin warned that these outcomes could cause insolvency if unaddressed. Yet Hamlin reaffirmed that team operations inside the shop have not faltered. He said, "Nothing changes from inside the shop," and declared unwavering commitment to compete open if required. He acknowledged that some affected drivers remain uncertain about their future. He declined to comment on Reddick's situation.